Well, markets are telling us that the war is over.
Yes.
The peace deal, the memorandum of understanding, is wafer thin.
Yes.
In Monty Python terms. There is a lot of triumph of hope over experience going on. I saw that my former colleagues at Citi have oil back down to 60 by year end. And, you know, what we're seeing is countries are stockpiling. But at the same time, if you look at the language that President Trump is using, he still talks quite openly about blowing Iran to smithereens, or, you know, insert choice word here. And at the same time, Iran is stronger than it was before by a certain number of metrics. So yes, markets are getting ahead of themselves, but markets are going to market. This idea of monetizing the Strait of Hormuz, which was not, that was not the practice of Iran before. It's a change in trend. It's a revenue generator. It's also an idea to inspire other countries sitting near choke points in strategic waterways. So this war, mark my words, will have a ripple effect, what I call a geopolitics butterfly effect, well beyond this, because Iran has ended up having a loaded gun, if you like, pointed at global oil markets.
The Chinese are sending a delegation to Tehran this weekend. What lessons will they learn from the Iranians?
Well, of course, China will be and has been watching very carefully what happens with Iran. They weren't as impacted as we were here in Europe by the supply shortage. And, of course, China has done something that the U.S. hasn't, which is build up its green energy and its alternative kinds of supplies. You know, China has ended up benefiting, including by some of the, softer metrics that I like to look at, including that the world trusts China more than the United States right now. It looks like a reliable and stable partner.
Back to the Strait of Hormuz. What I'm hearing is that you think that the oil price should go higher from here, not lower from here.
I mean, markets are reacting to the supply dynamics. There are still, 8,000 sailors trapped. I have clients in maritime law who are not feeling confident. But, it was always the case, for example, that the onset of U.S. shale would change the price dynamics of the Middle East. And geopolitical developments in the Middle East don't have the oil price impact that they did in 1974. So we've seen that demonstrated. But what we've also seen is that the United States is not able to dislodge an adversary that it has superior military power over without undertaking significant risk. And what I'm saying is that sends a message to others.
One final quick question. What is your assessment of where we are on the battlefield in Ukraine?
Well, what Ukraine has managed to pull off is nothing short of remarkable. They are holding the line in those eastern territories that Russia has had for the last few years with drones only. And of course, next week, NATO leaders, including President Trump, will gather in Ankara. And these two conflicts, Iran and Ukraine, will be top of the list there. I mean, Ukraine has ended up being the strongest and best prepared army in Europe. And that was not something anyone predicted 4 years ago after the Russian invasion.
Putin certainly didn't anticipate that. Tina, nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed for stopping by to see us. Tina Fordham of Fordham Global Foresight.